Hello, welcome to my cake kitchen. I'm Gladys. If you're meeting me for the first time and I look slightly confused, it's because I literally am running a little bit late here, but we are going to be making some vegan chocolate cupcakes. Now, this is a simple recipe that I put together. This is a recipe that makes regular chocolate cupcakes, but the thing is, if you've been here before, I love adaptable recipes and I can adapt things really quickly and then get them together. So we have vegan chocolate cupcakes that I'm going to put together rather quickly. I started it earlier in the morning and I went off and I'm back. So we are going to get going on that basis, get it done, and then hopefully we can be able to cover a cake in unwhipped ganache. I just want to bring you along the process, but I am running on extremely limited time, so hopefully I can keep you engaged and entertained whilst I do both. In the meantime, let's get our oven preheating for 160 C. Auntie Jackie, good afternoon. It's morning where you are, so good morning. It is afternoon. Like, I picked up a call earlier, and guess what I said? I said good morning, and the young man at the end of the phone, I think he was freaked out. He's like, who am I talking to and where are you calling from? I'm like, you know what, I've been up and about all morning. Okay, the difference between vegan well, if you haven't heard, vegan sometimes it's a lifestyle or a health choice that doesn't involve anything that has animal products. Okay, at least that is my little understanding of vegan. Look, I don't do vegan cupcakes, but this was a special decision I made to kind of donate some cupcakes for a good cause. And because they were already ordering a large cake from me, I thought I would just make them a vegan cupcakes just to support the effort, so that there's also choice. So this is set in consideration for other people who might be left out from the regular purchase. Hence why I am making the donation. There is Samuel Santana in the chat. For the quantity, I can actually derive this using a hand mixer. So I am just going to be employing my hand mixer. I only need 12 cupcakes, but as always, I end up making more. So let me get my cupcake trays. I never told you any lies when I told you my kitchen it was small. I mean, you do see the kitchen, the small kitchen activity play out over here. So I live by the principle, it's always better to make more than to make less. So I have enough butter for, I think, 24 cupcakes. But right now, let's line the cupcake tins. But what I need is just 12 cupcakes. Auntie J, how are you? We were here yesterday for a moment, and today, if you can tell, I've been on a few different commitments, and the little guy is still poorly. So my hands have been tied, and I'm so like, I don't know where my head is at the moment. Honestly, I don't. My head is just all over the place. But you know what? I can never, ever, let's see. I can never wake up and forget that the grace of the Lord is enough for me in every situation and any day. So at least that's something I can say out loud. But whilst we're at it, like I said, we have quite a bit to do in a short time. So what we have here is the flour, the cocoa powder, a pinch of salt, and some xanthan gum. The reason being, whilst most everything we have here doesn't have animal products, in cake making, the one key thing that helps to bind the ingredient is eggs. And we don't have eggs here. So just to have something that helps to bind the cupcake well and yield a nice crumb, I have just added some xanthan gum to this to help the bind, but we don't have eggs. So this will yield a very rich tasting cupcake, but it's more like on the brownie side than it is a cakey crumb if you like, because when you don't have eggs to bind, it sort of breaks. But this recipe is very adaptable. I have even made it into a gluten-free, and it still yields well. So when I tell you I love adaptable recipes, believe me, I live by that note. Like, I just want a recipe that can do everything. It's not always easy to come by, but I spend a lot of time trying to just get that right. And yes, I know I probably didn't do the base over here, but the base mixture is the same chocolate recipe minus the dairy product, because one of the key things in this recipe is sour cream. I just excluded the sour cream, and actually I'm looking for baking powder. Where did I put it? Yeah, it's over there. Yeah, baking powder. I'm looking for my little spoon. I just need half a teaspoonful of baking powder because of the liquid here. Look, because we don't have eggs and any more moisture enhancing ingredient. Look, it looks more like a brownie if you like, but it's not a bad thing. What we need though is a scoop. Glad we need some scoop, and we need some hot water. Thank you, Auntie Jackie. I've just seen you said it looks good. Well, let's finish baking and then we'll see the result, isn't it? The result always determines. Listen. Right, so we've got it here. We have 2 trays, some warm water. Let's go and see. Yeah. The reason why I dipped the scoop in water is to be able to scoop nicely. Oh, this will be some rich cupcakes. Okay, I need to dip it back in the warm water. Look. Anyway, how is everybody and how are you all keeping? Me, today has been a lot, like running around. But like I said, running around with a poorly child in tow is not the funnest thing. He wasn't in school, but hopefully he returns tomorrow. But we are keeping well. Auntie J, how are you? Okay. Right. I'll put the details in the description box when I come to optimizing it for you. Okay, so if you need the details and you can't wait, this is, if you look on the channel, you'll find my chocolate cake recipe. It is the same recipe minus the dairy and animal products. So in the base there is Coca-Cola as the liquid of choice. Instead of butter, I swapped for pure vegetable oil. And then there is the cocoa bar that I used is your the dairy free cocoa chocolate option here. Normally by the time you get to 74% cocoa, it doesn't have any milk solids in there at all, but you can never be too cautious. So There you have it. Let's see, it's preheating. I'm just going to sit this here. Okay. If I feel like I'm in a rush, it's because we are like, I have barely an hour, and most importantly, I wanted to show you how to use the whipped ganache. Okay, are we okay? What? Okay, you want to help? What's happening on Gary's mod? It's the little...
No, it's validating.
Sorry?
No, it's validating. So I'm downloading some mods, so I had to quit the game and then...
Okay, that is fine. Okay. But are you making responsible choices?
What like, yeah? What do you mean?
Okay, so why were you getting some mods without telling me?
Well, mods aren't games, Mama.
Okay.
They're mods for games.
Okay.
So things that you can get that do not cost money into... why am I even explaining it? Probably the people know what a mod is.
Okay, people, what's a mod? Let's see if the people would know.
Yeah, if they play games, they know what a mod is.
Okay, Bob M, everybody in the chat, thank you for stopping by. Okay, we have some vegan cupcakes that's just gone in. It's 4:18. They have to be in for about 20 to 22 minutes. That should take us up to about 22:05. So give or take 4:45, we will check on our cupcakes. Well, nobody knows what a mod is. I'm playing with you. You know I know a mod.
Okay, so a mod is something that is for a game that does not cost any money. So a mod is something that you can download into your game and that you can control and play with.
Okay. Has it been validated?
Just like if you are buying a toy.
I have just been given a lecture on what a mod is, people. Okay. There you have it. Right. So let's go back to my happy subject these days, which is ganache. Okay? Auntie J, can you see that I feel like a mama already? Okay. Let's talk about ganache. 1 second. No, I'm filming. Okay. Thank you for staying with me. Right, before we go on, let's have a look at this cake. This cake was baked right here yesterday on a live. It's a vanilla cake we baked 4-inch deep. One was 4-inch exactly and the other was 4.5. After torting, leveling and stacking it, we have a 6-inch cake that stands at 7 inches tall. It's important because someone was asking in the chat yesterday about the yield and the sizes. This same size can be converted to a 5-inch double barrel cake standing at 9 inches tall. 9 inches, 9.5. So it will be a slender cake but a taller cake. And the servings then will be about 18 to 20, 15 to 20. But at a 6-inch party servings, you have 20 to 24. The 15 to 20 is not because the cake reduces, but when it is taller, sometimes you lose a bit of the crumb when you're cutting it down and you don't cut it well. So minus a few that will crumble, because you have a slender cake that is taller. If you don't know how to cut it, you might lose some servings. But in terms of equivalent yield, you have a 5-inch cake standing at 9 inches tall, you have a 6-inch cake standing at 7 inches, and you have a 7-inch cake that will stand at 4 to 5 inches. That's the yield. I posted on the community post the different yield and the sizes exactly as it were from when the cake was baked before it was torted and leveled. I think for those who run businesses and are curious to know about a recipe and yield, that information is important. But of course, if you just want to make a cake for your family and you want a fairly sizable cake, this will serve you a minimum of 20 and it can go up to a maximum of 24. So you can find the recipe itself on the channel, and then you can find the details on the community post. That's just it. So this is the cake we are going to try and cover. Now let's talk about the ganache a little bit, because the subject of ganache has remained prevalent on the channel, and the simple reason is that I just wanted to use any opportunity I can to bring you up to speed with anything ganache and how I use it. So I've already taught you how to make the ganache 2 ways. Then I taught you how to reformulate or reconstitute the ganache when it is set, and then use it. I even demonstrated how to use it in its whipped form and unwhipped form. But today we are actually going to try and cover how to cover a cake or coat a cake from crumb coat to polished look using unwhipped ganache. So if you want to know about this ganache recipe, it is all up already on the channel. Go find it out. And then if you make your ganache, even how to color it. I think one of my few last videos on a live was how to color your ganache when it has already been made and colored, because white chocolate ganache has a yellow tinge to it. So how do you get it looking white after you've yielded it yellow? Because the thing is to get your color done when you are making the ganache so it will all constitute together. However, life happens, and if you don't color it, then when is the next opportunity, and how do you prevent the cake the ganache breaking, or how do you prevent texture issues that may develop? I covered that. I'm yet to clip that part for you, but it's on a live, you can find it out. So all the processes following before we get here, I already have it covered. So if you need the ganache recipe, we already have it on the channel. Check it out. And this was done same processes, and in fact this was the last one that I colored, which means the ganache was already made and then I came back and colored it. This ganache was colored whilst I made it, all of which I have already taught you. So we're gonna try and cover this cake using this ganache. So again, I have already taught you what to do when you make your ganache and then it looks this way. You can't use the ganache looking like this. If you try it, it will fall apart. It will give you issues on your cake. It's not spreadable. So you are going to have to put it in the microwave. I use the microwave for making my ganache. So I'm going to show you how exactly I will put this in the microwave. Now, I will say again, this is the moment where you really need your attention. You need your attention here, because look at what we have. What we have here, it looks spreadable, but it is tough. You can't spread this easily on your cake. So this is going straight in the microwave. We need about anything between 10 to 30 seconds, but don't put it in for the maximum time. 10-second interval should do. So I'm going to do that now, and then we'll do the live count, and then we'll come back and see. Right, we have 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's 10 seconds. Do not be tempted to do anything else. Do not be tempted. If you were tempted to go and run your tap of water, that is risking trouble. Please don't do that. Okay. So we've got the first 10 seconds in, but it is still hard. Look, It's like I'm having to fight with the ganache. Can you see? This is not the consistency we need, so we're gonna have to put it back in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, here's the part I would say. Microwaves vary from settings to settings and brands. My microwave here is 900 watts. It's heated at full power, okay? It's like on warm, full power. And the consistency we need, it's not there yet, but I am not trying to do anything else. Okay, look, still like a little bit tight. Now, if I wanted to whip this will be the consistency I will whip it at. But I am going to put this in again for another, let's say 5 seconds. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 25 seconds. That is if you can count on my counting, right? Okay, that's about the consistency that I need. Now, because I left the ganache sitting outside, it seems to have developed some skin, so there's texture in it. I won't worry too much because the cake I need to make can do with the texture. It's not a problem. But for you, be careful. So here is the downside of leaving the ganache to set without covering it. Some days it also depends on the quality of chocolate anyway. But the chocolate pieces I used are own brand supermarket ones. You have Aldi and Lidl type ones. So there you go. I'm going to wash my hands, bring the cake forward, and then we'll get to work. There you go. I mean, for better results, just make sure you are organized even before you start. Okay? This is chilled and frozen. We'll come to this later. If you see me wondering, I'm looking for something. I found what I'm looking for. Now, for ganache, you want to make sure that the tools that are going to be used in the process are going to help you in the process. And for me, a warm spatula or a warm scraper is all you need. So there's not much here. I'm gonna just put a generous amount of ganache on here. Unwhipped ganache is a little bit tricky to work with, okay? You have to get the consistency right, but one of the things that will help you spread this very easily is a nice warm spatula. I am crumb coating, but I am more than just applying a thin layer. I'm adding a bit more than I need just for the crumb coat. The moment the spatula is not warm, you will have contact issues. And make sure you don't use the same spatula for the crumb coat, especially if you have bulk ganache. So as you can see, okay, there you go. And the trimming of this cake wasn't so much for anything other than just making sure that the size and the shape is accurate. Now with a warm spatula scraper, I'm going to go around just to scrape it a little bit to get the excess off. And as you can see, there is texture on the cake. There is just a lot of texture, and that's because I am noticing the chocolate wasn't melted altogether. So you're seeing in real time when the chocolate doesn't melt, that's what you have. But we are going to get this done. Right. That is the first coating done. Because I'm having texture on it, I'm not going to do anything beyond this point. Okay, we're going to clean the cake up, leave it to set. And then we'll look at addressing the texture issues. Now, matter of fact, and this is the part where the lives and the decorating process in real time is helpful. Because you're seeing in real time the same ganache that I made, the same way I make it, for some reason the chocolate hasn't melted altogether. And I didn't notice until I'm covering the cake, because I thought it was just because it's set, and it doesn't. Because on close contact you can see. Now this is the part, one of my biggest tips for a beginner starting cake decorating process is that your biggest help will be time. Your time. Do not leave things too late, because the cake decorating process is an art form that requires some imagination, but there are some unpredictable moments, and the unpredictable moment will show up when you least expect them, and this is one of those. I mean, you would have thought I would know. I thought it was the ganache going setting that has caused like texture on it, and I have gone and mixed it. Turns out the chocolate didn't melt properly. Now, whether it was temperature issues or because I made the ganache overnight, I didn't check. I couldn't tell you. But here's a real case of the ganache unwhipped and yielding texture. Now, what you would want to do with this is put the ganache back in the microwave, melt it all together, make sure you get the right texture, let it set and come back. But what do you do if you don't have time to do that? What do you do if you don't have time to do that? The good news though is that I have the other form of ganache here, which is the same. It's the same formulation but different times. I made this before I made that, and this is fine. It's still unwhipped ganache, so I'm going to have to reconstitute this by putting it in the microwave and then using that as a final coat. For this, I'll have to take care of that later. But in the meantime, we need to wipe our work surface, leave this to set completely, because we don't want this texture coming through on our cake for later. That's what we're going to do. But let's not forget that I also have vegan cupcakes baking, which I need to check soon. Okay. So we've gone from unwhipped ganache to ganache with texture, ganache issues, and how to fix them. Really? But that's fine. So you want to leave this to set completely in do you take off the chunks that didn't melt to do another layer? You know what, matter of fact, I could do that, but that's going to be a lot to do since the crumb coat part is almost like keeping the texture in. I'm going to leave it as that. A bit of chocolate for whoever is eating the cake is not a bad thing, but you need to let this cake set completely because the chunks that are in are chunky bits. If you don't let it set before you apply another coat, they will show up in the next layer. So I need to let this set so that the chunks will hold on the cake, and then when I apply another layer, it will cover the entire thing seamlessly. So there are two ways you can look at it depending on your skill level, your competence, and ability to problem solve through the process. But at this point, my biggest advice is don't touch the cake, don't do anything. Sometimes the easiest thing is don't do anything at all. Don't. So I'm going to leave this to set completely, and then we come back and then we'll see. I am hoping I can save this right in front of you so that at least you can see how a fixing process for a problem looks like when it shows up. I can tell you, in my 10 years of making cakes and counting, a little over 10, believe me, I never go into cake decorating thinking I've got it hacked. This cake is due tomorrow. And part of the reason why I am desperate to get it done today is if I leave it tomorrow, the cake is due out at 10 a.m. Between when I wake up to get the little guy to school and get my morning started, 10 a.m. is hardly enough time to do anything. Now, can I try? Yes, I can, but that would be like having a gun to my head and being told to make life happen. I don't want that drama. I don't. Because the last thing is sweating bullets and the time counting on it. So I want to be sure that if it's tonight, I can get this cake all covered. And then anything else that is left is things that I can control. Do you know what I mean? So that's where we are. I only have today. Yep. The cake was baked last night. I filled and stacked it this morning. Went off on different activities. Literally just got back to continue this, and then we'll see. Okay, but yeah, we have gone from we have literally gone from wanting to show you what it looks like covering a cake with unwhipped ganache, but now we have unwhipped textured ganache. There you have it, right? But we'll save it, don't worry, we will. Can I show my cake decorating tools? Of course, I can. I will talk you through those, but let's leave this cake to set in a minute. Bear with me. I'll come back and talk you through the tools that I need. Are we good over here, Baba?
Yes.
Right, 40. Let's check on our cupcakes. Okay. It needs a bit more baking time so that it can set. It has kind of overflown the lips a little bit, and that's because there are no eggs to hold it properly. You'll see what I mean. It's like, it's not happening today, is it? But, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the cake decorating process. I show you the real process in real time. I literally come to show you what I do in real time. So you'll see that the cupcakes are not perfect. And that's because they've gone from the regular, if these were regular cupcakes, we require 4 eggs in there. And I had to add, for every 500 grams of flour, you need about half a teaspoonful of xanthan gum. So it seems like I have overfilled the cups. They are overflowing. It's not a mess, but it's not the best. Just giving you a tips up. Now, is it Abdella was asking about my cake decorating tools. Abdella, I have already covered my selection of baking tools in an entire video that is on the channel already. It's in long form, not a live format, so check that out. But for this cake specifically, I mean, my tools are actually in use, as you can see it. I have a spatula, as in a plastic, I said plastic, silicone spatulas that stir into the ganache. I need a stainless steel 9-inch PME scraper. I also have the hot one from hardware store, and I have a couple of offset spatulas. So you need this in sizes. I think fairly they come in a few different sizes if you like. Let's see. Okay, these are the 3 main sizes I got, and then I have a different selection of those, the small ones. I can't talk you through all of them because frankly I am not using all of them, but I am just showing you what I'm using. But if you want to see my decorating tools in its form, there's a video covering all of that already for you. So in the meantime, whilst the cake is setting, what I'm going to do is try and reconstitute this to finish the polishing. I don't know if this will be enough, but the cake is already full, and the cake is going to have like decorative details on it, so it shouldn't matter. But if you see me for the first time, hello there people, all of Lollipop, Jackie, and the rest of you. You know, some days I can do both, and some days I just tell you I just can't. I love you though for keeping the interaction going and for welcoming the new people. If you're new here, look, there are days we come to class and we just have to focus on the job to do, and then there are days we can have a bit more fun. Today is one of those days where I'm focused on actually delivering you the information, simply because I'm tight for time, but I also didn't want to miss the live today. My week has been a little bit sketchy, okay, but I am committed to showing up and delivering the value that I promised. So I did post in the community post that I had some commitments and I was going to update you in real time. I have literally walked through my door, and by calculation I have an hour and 20 minutes before we're out of here, okay? And I really want you to see the process of the ganache from start to finish, right? So bear with me. If you don't get to talk to me today, please stick around, come back. We are headed for the 10K mark. I hope we can make it for Christmas. It will be a lovely Christmas present to have, and of course a good way to finish the year. I mean, 10,000 of you, come on. Like, I can't think of 10,000 people in the same space. That will be wild. Like, imagine all of you in a stadium, but you know what I'm saying. Just saying thank you for being here. So let's get this reformulated. Okay, I have just counted 10 in my head, and it's still nothing has happened. Okay, I even have the challenge of not introducing any of the texture bits. So I'm gonna kind of clean up a spatula here so that we can use that, a silicone spatula I mean, because I can't afford any of this texture to go in here, right? So we tried stirring it, it hasn't worked, right? Let's put it back in, and we have 10, 9, 8, 6, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, there you go. Okay, we've got it. It has sort of, there you go. So At this point, you know what, I could just turn around and whip it, but the intention is just to show you how to work with the ganache and whip. But like I told you, I like to whip my ganache. There are only a few circumstances under which I don't whip ganache, and that is if I don't want to break the emulsion. But for the trouble I am having, I could simply just go back to, I think it's also because I made the ganache and I left it to set at room temperature, and so what is causing the texture is that depending on the amount of oil, because remember the brands vary, so depending on how much what oil, what fat is in, when you leave it, it kind of goes back to setting, which might give you the texture that we just found on there. So you know what, I'm going to leave this back in again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and we have it. It is soft. There's not a lot of it, but then that is all we will need. So let's see, I'll leave that on the side. If you want to see what that looks like, there you go, which is way better than what I have over there. I could work the other one by melting it, but it has to melt completely and reform, and if I do that, I can't use it. So I want to be able to show you how to use it. But let's check on our cupcakes first. If you see me not jumping for joy, okay, we have vegan cupcakes. So for 12, I can make it work. But this is what we have. Okay, it is one of them days where I'm like, I have filled my, okay, so I can, you know what, I'm not even mad. Remember, I said they are going to be more like a brownie-like cupcake instead of a regular cupcake. So I just want to make sure they are baked, and yes, they are, right? So we are going to leave this to set completely because I need to get my best 12 from these, right? I need to get my best 12. They've baked right. Remember, they're vegan. They've baked fine, but if I mess with them, they will fall apart. So I need them to set completely, and then I will choose my best 12. But at least I can make 12 cupcakes out of this. Plus, they're going to be topped with chocolate, the vegan chocolate buttercream I made. And then they're going to be custom toppers on it. So the tops are really not going to be visible, which is not the issue. I overfilled the cups a little more than they should, but moment of truth, most of the time it doesn't matter what the thing looks like, even though I do care about what it looks like. Normally you would see me jumping for joy. Look, I'm not jumping for joy because they look a hell of a mess. But if you're turning regular cupcakes to vegan ones, you should be grateful you at least have something going. That's all. Okay, so let's see. All right, I really don't want to touch them, but there you go. We have 2. I feel like I'm selecting my best 12 and then I can play with the rest. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then where is the 12th one? 12 cupcake. Let's do, yeah, 12. Yep, so we have 12 cupcakes here. I'm not mad. Okay, now let's go and try the random ones and see. Okay, I'll leave you to make a judgment on it. Look, you won't think there are no eggs in there. Listen, if you add chocolate buttercream to this, you will know the difference. You will know the difference. We need to let them set. They do look, they do look rich, but they look a mess. Okay? Can we talk about what a mess they look like? Because I like my cupcakes so fine, but we've got them. Because like I said, we're going to have a topping of buttercream, and they're going to have custom toppers on them. So whatever they look like on the top won't matter when we get them decorated. And I will post some photos when they are complete in the community post so you can see. Right now, we're done with the cupcakes. Let's get back to our cake, which is the main reason why we are here today, actually. You know what? Let me just put this on them. Because when they stay in the tray, they continue to cook. Yeah, some days the free-from and stuff, the short bought ones, they are really amazing. Like the science of the free-from products are just like out of this world at this point. But there you go. I think if I had to remake this, I would do them slightly differently. But for what it is worth, good vibes is back. Good vibes. How are you, my love? I am filling my kettle up, and okay, now let's get to our cake. And I'm boiling the kettle so at least we are set for when the cake comes out. We need a sharp knife and we need our spatula. Right. Let's go get the cake back here. There you go. And if you're just catching us on this live, we came to cover a cake in unwhipped ganache. we've started our ganache series where I use every opportunity to bring you information about how to use ganache for best results. And in the process, I found out my ganache has texture on it, and so we have had to address that issue. So instead of covering the ganache altogether, the cake with ganache altogether, I am having to kind of reset my whole intention, and at this point we are looking to cover the cake, but the textured ganache has now been set on the side and we are trying to use a different ganache, same, but the problem that developed with the original one, I am not sure how, so we are just trying to cover this whilst there's texture on it. When you find there's texture on your ganache, the first thing, especially if you can't reconstitute the ganache, is to make sure if you have extra ganache to use that. So thankfully I do have extra ganache, which is what I have just brought out, and that is the ganache we made on another live where I taught you how to color your ganache after you've made it. It's always best to, one second. It's always best to color your ganache in the process of making it so that it will set and yield you better results. But failing that, the next best thing is to color it when you can, and that can also be a key process if you don't know what you're doing. So I came to show you how to color ganache on a live after you've made it. It's a very simple video, and so that's the ganache I am using now to kind of color the cake, cover the cake. But let's not miss the detail that I am, ganache. People, you are literally watching a cake decorator show you the perils of cake decorating in real time, okay? Okay, there we have it. Now let's go into the quest. Because I have such a little amount of ganache, it's like I have to try and make it work. Because failing that, I don't have any other recourse. But you know what? We're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. So the cake returned. Okay, let's. Today, my goal to show you the real process surpasses my need for perfection in the process. So we are just making it work as it happens. Okay. Okay. Now, I have said it before. Scraping can be done in stages. Please do not be tempted to do what I'm doing here. Okay. Neil, what am I making? Neil, I am covering a cake in unwhipped ganache. If you squint, I don't want to pretend that this cake covering process is perfect. If you squint, you can still see texture on it, but I will get that covered. For now, I am more interested in showing you how you can seal some of the issues that have developed on it. And if you can see me just looking around, I'm looking for my spatula, but I can't find it. I'm looking for my small spatula, I can't find it. So I'm going to get a butter knife, and what I'm doing is I am just going back to fill in the parts where there are air pockets. And instead of scraping it all together, I am just doing it in parts. Okay. And then the excess that will come from this can be used on other sides of the cake where I need coverage. You can infuse ganache with flavors, but that requires the knowledge of emulsion and the science of the ingredients you are adding last. So kids, bear with me. Okay, you definitely can, but it's not very straightforward. So as this develops, I am sure I will come and show you how to do that. Okay, if I am being completely honest with you, I can see texture here, but I know the texture is not very obvious on camera because of the lights. But if I squint, I can see it. Is it obvious? No. If you're not looking for it, you won't see it. When I mean texture, I don't mean these air pockets. The polished parts here. If you squint, you can see. But I know it's not obvious on camera, which is how like invisible it can be. But because the goal is to show you how to do it and do it right, I'm going to say I can see texture on it, but forgoing that, at least you can see the cake coming together. It doesn't look like the cake that was covered in lumpy ganache, right? So what I'm going to do is wipe up, let this set again for a few minutes, and then come back and give it a nice clean. That's what we are going to do. Yeah, lollipop, when we did the panda cake, we added lemon juice, and the lemon juice, the amount of lemon juice we had plus the corn syrup was a deliberate intention to make sure that the emulsion holds, because the moment you start adding water to white chocolate ganache, you will break it if you don't know what the components, ingredients do and how they hold together. So the simplest thing you can add to it is obviously some other liquid ingredients, but you're going to have to hold the balance right so that you don't interfere with the formulation, which is why I said it's something you can do, but it requires understanding. So I don't want to, the answer is yes, but doing it requires some intention and understanding of the proportions of ingredients, just so you can get it right. So for instance, if you're adding lemon, depending on the amount of lemon juice you want, if you're going to add maybe 50 to 60 mils of lemon, you're going to have to reduce the fat from the cream a little bit. And you're going to have to raise the amount of corn syrup, which is the thing that will hold it together and still make sure that the emulsion holds. But you're going to have to raise the white chocolate a little bit. For instance, if I want to make the lemon one, I think what we did was 900 grams, was it, for the panda cake, if I remember right? But we had 270 mils of cream to 30 mils of lemon juice. I can't remember. Lollipop, I'm sure you can confirm that for us. Right. Let's go. So our cake is covered, but it's not done. It still requires a bit of finishing touches to it. But yeah, to cover a cake in ganache, it's as simple as you can see, but we are not done yet. So let me leave this to set. Oh, it even looks, look, let me go leave it to set. Let me not do anything yet, because I'm also thinking maybe I can just go ahead and clean it, but no, let's leave it to set completely whilst we kind of organize and then come and clean it all together. Okay, so there you have it. This is unwhipped ganache, what it looks like to cover a cake in unwhipped ganache. Maybe the next time we do the ganache, we'll be doing the whipped ganache, so you can see what that looks like. Then we move on to coloring ganache, like darker colors, because I've so far showed you the lighter color, which is the white. And the white is fairly simple to do. And the lighter colors, especially if you're using the oil and gel based brands like your Color Mill or the other recommended brands. But if you're using powder, you're going to have to hydrate the powder and add it, or you're going to add the powder to the cream in a way that doesn't affect the results by forming texture and other things. So, okay, I say that to say, I'm sure as it develops, I will come and show you. But as I'm talking about it, it just makes me think, what has happened to our Christmas themed stuff? But we'll get to there. We'll get there. There you go. Let's go leave this to set, and then we'll come back and give it a final clean. Bobo, you have 5 minutes and you have to finish and start. Yes. Let's not start so you're responsible. You have 5 minutes so that you can go and have a shower for us to get ready for work. Okay? Yeah? Can you do that? Okay, I want you to come and talk to me when you're done. Yeah? I see Lollipop said she can't remember. That is fine, my darling. I know. If you're in the chat and you're talking to me today, I am here, but I am MIA, and I am so sorry. But I hope you have still found some value in the information I have delivered. Dolly is back. Dolly, Dolly, you are offering me lip service. Dolly, you're supposed to bring me my bread. You will? Okay. I bet if there's a surprise waiting for me, I will be hopeful then. Is that butter bread? When I saw it, I'm like, Dolly, Dolly, you're in your house baking butter bread. People, if you don't know what butter bread is, it's the equivalent of Ghanaian salted soft bread. It is really nice. It brings childhood memories. Right. I need to get a knife and then we'll set up because we need to get the ganache right. Right, we've got the rest of the ganache we had from what we did. It's here. So we are going to use that. And we are getting our knife. If you wonder why I have the hot water, it is so that it can keep my tools warm for getting a clean finish to the cake. We have reset. anybody tell you cake making is a repetitive task of doing the same thing over and over again, the boring things? There you go. I'm going to get the cake back. Can you do that for me, please? There you go. So, our cake is back. Again, we are going to get the top right. Okay, that's the top of the cake all done. From here, we need our warm scraper back. Yeah, the noise interference. Could that be the kettle? Is it gone? If it's gone, it's because it's the kettle. My kettle is very noisy. Yeah. It could be the kettle, but let's see. Auntie J, is it gone? Now we are going to fill the small spaces. Okay. And then, okay. On a day when you need things to act right, the spatula goes flying, but you know what? We ain't giving up. Right. We have our warm scraper. It goes all the way around. And then you lift. Right. Do you find the noise soothing then, Lollipop? Okay. Can you see the cake and how polished it looks? Because I didn't have enough ganache, it seems like some of the ganache that was used in the crumb coat ended up in here. So I can see some cake bits on it, but it's not like a cake fail or anything. The goal is to get, if I had enough ganache, then I would go ahead and polish this all over again, just so that it's clean. But nonetheless, the point about showing you how to cover a cake with unwhipped ganache is not lost here. So,
Mama, come.
Darling, I can't do that right now. Can I do it in a bit? Can I do that in a bit for you, please?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. So, I think one last scrape, because have I told you before? Sometimes the best tip in cake decorating is to know when to stop. Okay, I'm stopping now. I'll leave you guys to make a judgment on it. Vote. Let's see. Hands up if you think if you were a beginner and you wanted to use ganache for covering your cake, if you achieve this result, would you think that is good enough? Actually, would you think that is perfect? Thumbs up. If you think it needs improvement, thumbs down. The thumbs down doesn't necessarily mean you don't agree. It's just showing that you could have wanted it better. Genuine feedback. So let's see. Let's show by hands. Let me see who might have a different opinion. That we can't all be nice, you know. We need to be able to be honest about the feedback so that we can grow. Because if you guys out here are all giving me a thumbs up, how am I going to improve me? Or am I that good? Lollipop, at this point you have a whole zoo at home. Lollipop has a whole zoo. Has she told you, people? Okay, so let's see, show by hands. I am looking, show by hands. Okay, so do we think we've got the result we need? Okay, I wish I can just trim the top so that I know the turn it around one more. Okay, so I am turning it around slowly. Okay, so we're doing this slowly so that you can make a judgment call for yourself about the cake. So there you go. I am going. Okay, I'm not going to turn it like on a, like, no.
Mama.
Yes, darling.
Come.
No, I can't come right now, babe. Yeah, I'm on a live. I can't do anything. But I can do it when I'm done. Give me 5 and I'll be done. Okay? Okay. Okay. Right. I'm trying to get the tops covered. Top. There you go. Okay. All done. Okay, now we've gotten the knife is gone. So there you go. We're going to start again and go slowly. And that's a cake covered in unwhipped ganache. What do you think? It's all like we have sharp edges. There you go. Yep. I can see texture here, and that is because the ganache is finished and I don't want to keep slobbering like bits of ganache. So actually this is fair. I can put a scraper in the warm water and get that. But you know what? The aim is not perfection. The aim is small progress at a time. Can I clean it out and get it beautiful? You bet I can do that. Is that realistic for a complete beginner? Definitely not. And the goal always is to show you how a cake can be presented close to good, and yet there's room for improvement. So there you go. There you go. So we went from Dolly. For your sake, I derived the sizes and servings in terms of yield of the cake. So as I was telling you yesterday, when I torted the cakes and leveled them out, each individual cake was about an inch and a bit. So it all added together to give me 6 inches in height. But once I filled the cake, it was exactly 7 inches. So I started with a cake that was 6 inches in diameter, 7 inches high. Let's look at, now that we've covered it, what we are seeing. Okay. There you go. Yeah, it's a 7-inch cake. And it serves 20 to 24 party size servings. So there you have it, Dolly. So it will, if you turned this into the equivalent 5-inch, it will be a 5-inch cake in diameter, 9 inches tall. So it will be very tall in terms of height, and it will be 6 layers instead of 4. It will be 6 solid 2-inch layers, if doweled right. And then if you convert it to a 7-inch, you will get 5 inches, a little between, it's not full on complete 5, but it's not 4, somewhere just short, shy of 5 inches if you turned it into a 7-inch 4-layered cake with the filling. Okay, and it's still like, for the same servings, you are still going to get similar servings, 20 to 22 servings, because for the 6, it's a full-on 24 servings. But remember, the minimum serving is what to go for. It's 20 servings. The 4 is just surplus for if you know what you're doing. Do you know what I'm saying? So it can be a 5-inch, 9-inch cake, a 6-inch, 7-inch, which is 5-inch, 6 layers standing at 9, 4 layers of 6 standing at 7, 4 layers of 7 standing at 5 inches, all 20 to anything between 20 to 24. So they range between 20, 22 and 24 depending on the size. And if I turn this to an 8-inch cake, it will be 2 layers standing at a little above 4 inches, not quite 5, but not much. So if I was turning this recipe into an 8-inch cake, I will have to bake the same recipe quantity twice. Does that make sense? So like we baked yesterday, I'll still bake another set again twice. So if you want to know how to cover a cake in ganache for a polished look, this is what it's like. Now a cake like this is going to be great for covering, for fondant covering, or ready for a drip, or decorations. There are going to be decorations on this cake, but not right now. I have stuff to do. So I'm not sure the decoration will be happening on a live. The goal was to kind of bring it, show you what covering a cake in unwhipped ganache looks like. And that's what we have. This week, we will be covering how to color like a different color rather than white. And then we will get to more on the subject of ganache and how to yield your cakes. Karabo is in the chat. Karabo, great to have you. My people, look, if I did what I normally do, I wouldn't be here today. But I'm so happy I challenged myself to make it. We made some vegan chocolate cupcakes, which is what we have over here. They are like brownie-like cupcakes because they don't have any dairy or eggs in it for hold. But there's going to be chocolate frosting on top of that with some custom car themed toppers, and then it's going to be decorated to match this cake. If you check the community post, I'll be posting some update when it's all complete and done. Okay, but today hasn't been my most interactive. I don't take my interactions with you for granted. If you're asking me questions, I'm not going to be able to answer it today, but hopefully tomorrow I have enough time on my hands. I have a poly kid. He goes back to school tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Okay. In the meantime, catch up on all the other videos. And yeah, I'm still scrambling to get your video edited for the ganache ratios explained, because I need that to kind of like bring you some more information on ganache. And then we might clip this for a later video. In the meantime, happy baking, all the best, and I'll see you soon. Take care.